It's another episode of The Inner Room. Monday's wife, Emmett, Canner, thank you for joining. I have the lovely IMI, and to everyone who may have or may not guessed, she was my secret co-host because a couple of days ago I realized I didn't have an inner room scheduled for today, and I thought, well, who better to bring back than the amazing IMI? And then I thought, well, I don't want to ask her questions. I just want the conversation. It is soft pink. Well, it's a purple, actually.
Yeah. I'm a person who usually do not require to be prompted with questions. Like if you let me, I can just speak for an hour on my own generally. That's why like me and my former therapist who just nodded in front of me and said nothing made it work in our sessions.
Well, I think therapy in that aspect, it should be more of you talking and less of them talking.
Yes, but like sometimes say something, like because like like I am bursting into tears in front of you, at least like, and she looks with such an empty, like blank state of eyes. Hi, someone said hi to me, and like that for me, also like now being trained in different therapy modalities this year, I learned like there is something called as active directive style. I believe like it's all up to people and whatever works best for them. That lady and I didn't make many progress.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, your therapist or psychiatrist, you should have some type of relationship with, and if you don't feel comfortable, you're probably not going to continue to utilize them. So Monday's wife was the one that said hello, hello. She said she liked my hair. I appreciate that. I literally just got it today, so anybody that cares about it, cool. Sierra, thanks for joining. And this is the only inner room session that I have planned where there are no questions, and it's just me and a lovely co-host, as everybody knows, IMI, who are going to just sit and have some conversation. So as the chat, if you guys have anything that you want to specifically talk about, feel free to drop it. We'll do our best to talk about that shit. But really, this is like just doing whatever we want to do. And I adore IMI. This is her third time being here. So we're basically friends. I just need to travel to the UK so I can finally hang out with her.
And we have to attend that sushi class for sure.
Well, or just do it ourselves. We can YouTube and get the ingredients and have our own date. Like
that would be so much fun. My kitchen is already so used to being a mess all the time. So it's like perfect for it.
Well, in all fairness, sometimes I get overwhelmed and don't like to. I definitely have dishes in my sink right now, so don't feel bad. Monday's wife, thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. Philip said, you both look great. Appreciate that. Canner said, I missed the prompt on Monday. Are you going to speak about it?
I would love to speak about it because this is the biggest project I've ever signed up like myself into. I won't say the prompt here. My sister joined that girl. Hi, sister. Anyway, so the prompts that I shared on Monday, you can just scroll back up in our chat and find it there. But just to announce it to people who are here too. But if you want, I can open a new thread and I can repeatedly share it across the week because it's a quite nice one. I really loved it, and I think I'm gonna write one about I will write my own reflection on it too to have it with yours. And if you haven't heard, I'm building a collective archive where I just share weekly prompts in my subscribers chat, and I will be collecting each of those pieces if they're published and if I'm tagged inside the post, and then create a joint folder for us that will be our long-lasting legacy.
The big old archive is just going to go like this. I love that you're doing this because I have I don't want to say recently come to the understanding, but I do feel like in the era of social media and all these different platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok have done a great job of me being able to see the different versions of me. And obviously TikTok, there are videos, there are more videos on there of me. So that I have this archived of all the years of my life since 2007, which is super cool. Yeah. But Substack is unique because it allows us to archive our writing and the way that we are feeling or thinking in a moment. So I love that you're doing this. Yeah. I kind of miss the prompt, but I definitely want to be a part of it.
I would love for you to do it, and I will definitely share it. Yeah. And also, what you said reminded me. I didn't think of it while I had the idea of the archive, but this is how I started to journal and how my entire writing career actually started. Because I just said to myself, I don't want to forget my days. I don't want to forget what I've done yesterday or the month before. I just want to know what I was doing in that day and who I was. And it is was quite interesting. That's how I started to journal, and I started that at the age of 7. Always not so consistently, but I have kept it as a habit. But also, like, it's so much fun even to look at your former Facebook photos and see how you looked like then, and imagine like reading what you wrote about who you are, who you want to become, or general other stuff. 5 years later from now, which you'll be finding online, I think that's quite nice.
No, it's amazing. I will say though, but my Facebook has more of words than pictures because Facebook I felt like was more of the like you put a status like what are you doing, right? Like
Mhm.
that was like what it started off as, and then it's become whatever it's become.
Mhm.
Instagram was more photos, and then TikTok to me
Yeah.
was more videos. So Substack to me is like the holy grail because
It
it's
is.
all of my words. But real quick, I just want to say hi to Darby. They said, "Hey,
Hi,
hi, what up,
Darby.
Marlena? Happy Tuesday." Um, Everybody that's just joining, thank you for coming in. This is a very unique in a room episode. I usually have questions for my co-host, but IMI does not need questions. We just have
Just
conversation.
speak.
um, Heather says I'm still working on the challenge. That's great. Bathroom guy, thanks for joining. Philippa says I have journals dating back 31 years. That's amazing. Like these are some of the things that I'm like, I remember I was like a scribbler and a writer in high school. Like in my notebooks, like in the margins and stuff. Like I used to scribble
Mhm.
shit, doodle shit, write
Mhm.
stuff. So I wish I kind of kept some of those, but anybody that has like, especially if it's handwritten
Mine as
nowadays,
well, yeah.
yeah, nowadays it would take me forever to write something with my hand.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier for me to either talk to text because my thoughts are so fast, or obviously to type it. Go ahead.
I'm with you with those fast thoughts. Honestly, I just like text wise, I hate texting. I used to be so responsive. Now, like, I just hate spending my time trying to like tap things on my phone. So I do use that auto something too when I'm texting. But with writing, I'm just too much old school. Like, I love writing with pen and paper, and my eye, like, it flows more naturally. I don't know why, but I am like, originally I like to write pen and paper, but then it takes so much time to transcribe. So, like, I use a lot more laptop.
Yeah. It for me, it physically hurts, and it's just like you laugh, but I'm like, it blows my mind because obviously throughout our career in school, we're writing every day. And
Yes.
then the moment I graduated high school, I didn't really spend a lot of time in college. I wasn't writing as much. And then you talk about it's going to be almost 2 decades that I've graduated high school. Yeah, writing is actually painful for me.
I
Yeah,
get that.
I feel like did you just do the math in your own head? Like how long
Yes,
has it
I
been for
tried
you?
to calculate what, like, how. Yeah.
It's 19 this year will be 19 years ago that I graduated high school, and it blows my mind. I graduated in 2007, and I apparently I just blinked and I got, like, really old, and, like, that is not
You
really
are
old,
not
but I'm just
old.
saying, like, I have grown, and I'm just like, How did that happen so quickly?"
That happens. I feel like the education part of our lives just like starts and it feels like never gonna end. But it feels weird to think of myself when I'm in high school. I just calculated it's about to be a decade for since my graduation from high school too.
Almost 10 years.
Also, about that writing, like, all the time with the classes in school, I hated that too. And honestly, when I was at elementary school, we were playing at like a recess time in a break time, and me and my friend were trying to break our arms by jumping off from high places so that we wouldn't have to write and we wouldn't have to go to school. I'm like, I couldn't find the courage in myself,
Actually
honestly,
do it.
but like. I just tried so much, like try to jump like this, try to jump like this to break my arm. But yeah,
All you gotta do is climb a tree and fall from it.
it's not like falling is not something difficult for me. I don't have to even try. I just like
If you
fall.
climb a tree though, and you
Mhm.
fall from, like, a tree from up you're probably gonna instinctually put your hands down, which may brace a lot of the fall, which then you'll hurt your arm, you know? That was the
Yeah,
point, right?
hopefully. Thanks, but like not at this point where writing is the only thing I have that makes me happy in life. But
Yes. I
like
get that.
before, like, I think if I were to ever climb a tree, I might even fall before making the climb. You know?
I remember just being in elementary school, and there was a tree because like, the school was connected kind of like all schools have, like, their own, like, recreational, like,
Mhm.
yards, right? But then, like, this school, like, right next to it was an actual park, and
Mhm.
between the park and the school was, like, a little pathway that happened to have this tree that was just, like, the perfect climbing tree apparently, and I
Mhm.
just remember not being able to actually do it.
Mhm.
Like,
It's
I
not
just
just
it
easy.
takes a lot of, like, upper body strength apparently, and I've always been apparently a little bit of a larger chica, so it was just like I
No,
never
but
really learned how to do that
uh-huh.
shit.
No, yeah, I get that, but upper body strength is something different. Like I don't have it at all. Like my lower body is quite strong. I work out a lot, but like upper body,
Body?
I'm quite weak.
So you can't do no pull you don't
Never. I admired even like
push-ups? No? Yeah.
push-ups I can. I can do push-ups. 10. I can do 10
You
push-ups.
could do 10? I could do wall push-ups.
Well, how do you do that?
Like, you're kind of, like, on a slant and you're just wall
I've
pushing
never
up.
tried that. I'll definitely give it a go. That
It's
sounds
a
interesting.
it's just a different I don't wanna say it's a lazier version, but it's just
It's kind
I
of
think
like
you
it
need to
sounds
build
like
it.
it
Like,
sounds like a bit. Sorry, I keep interrupting you. It sounds like a bit of a like a lazier version, but like how is like
it's a I feel like it's like a beginner version of just developing, like, that type of muscle strength
Mhm.
in your upper body. Um, as usual, I've already lost track of the chat, but Canner said, "Yeah, I'll look it up. I just want to hear that project from you because I believe the vision and how genuine it is. Thank you." Dial said, "Good to hear similar stories behind how you came upon Substack." Monday's wife says, "I have my research paper from years back and it sounds stupid. Don't say
Yeah, but it's a research paper. Yeah, I that's something.
I mean, I if I ha sometimes I look at my Facebook, like, status posts that I put in and be like, "Damn, I was really, like, putting shit out there." Like, I have always been a vulnerable writer where people are going to know exactly how I feel. And sometimes it makes me cringe because I'm just like, "Yo, I really put this out. I really said this. Like, I really did that?
Yeah.
Wow."
I
Uh
am quite same though. Like I tend to be an emotional drama queen on my own, and with the writing itself, I just like all of it is like emotional wobble things that I share most of the time. I think.
No, I mean, if I pulled up my Facebook and read, like, something that I said 12 years ago, you'd be like, "Wow, Marlena." Yeah, it's like, "Yep, yep, 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 that was
I am
me."
quite curious. But you know what's interesting? I wish he was on here, but he's not. You know, Alex, you know him. I think like he sent me some note that I posted a month ago this year, like 4 or 5 months ago, on a night that I was quite feeling low. I kind of had a meltdown that night, and I was like having these problems in my head. And Alex sent me the note, and he said like, "Look how much you developed, although you erased this note." I didn't look at the writing; I looked at the content. My problems remained exactly the same. Like whatever I described there is exactly what I'm going through at that point. I was like, wow, this hasn't been a productive winter.
I don't think that. I mean, I think you probably still well, first of all, things that we go through in life, it takes more than a second to get to the other side of it, right?
Uh-huh.
Have you read anything of that you wrote when you first started? Have you
I
read back
do.
any of that?
Well, I do that a lot actually, and I see the progress. Like for example, I think it's also like English is my second language, and I started to write in English when I started my Substack. I was always writing Turkish before, so I can see the change. I can see like my language has evolved more poetically. I really love those rhymes. It just makes it more magical for me. And like it has a lot of change. I go back to it a lot, but interesting. I will go through them again. How do you feel when you go through your old posts?
Sometimes I get a little cringy
Yeah,
because
sometimes me too.
there was such lack of, like, structure. Like, it was really
Mhm.
just even, like, I wasn't even, like, paragraphing. Like, it was just, like, one long and
Mhm.
I was like, "Oh, that's not how I would do
Yeah,
it today,"
yeah.
which allows me to then just, again, see my own evolution in it, which I can't
Mhm.
be upset about, but,
Mhm.
um,
I get
there
the
are
cringe
there
parts though.
yeah, there's, like, a little bit of a cringy, like, shit, but I like that it's there, and I like people not that somebody's gonna go back almost a year now and
Now I'm
200
gonna go back. You brought this up yourself.
No, it's like I feel like I have to it says I have, like, 200 and, like, 20 something post out, right? So, like, to go all the way to the beginning and see, like, one of my first ones, you'll definitely see that things have changed.
My first ever post on Substack is so cringe. I wrote like even the story like behind it. Like I wrote it there was this guy this summer that he was like the king of love bombing, like, but the king of him. Like, he never met me in person. Every morning I would receive this lengthy paragraph text messages saying good morning and also appreciating everything that I was, but not even meeting me for once. And I, at the time, I'm just gonna give this story full disclosure. I'm at that time at Greece with a French guy who I'm on a vacation with, but it's just going horrible. And like, it was like, in the end, that by the way, I had to walk into an empty room where he left me without letting me know. And then I was like, entered the room and texted him, "Where are you?" And he said, "I'm gone." So like that ended that horribly. But the guy, the other love bombing king, entered so much at the right time that he just like replaced him. And then one day, then I got so used to these appreciative morning messages. And one day when I just didn't receive it, I just like flipped.
Yeah.
I don't remember any other time when I went on this much deep stalking. I checked. I like pay subscribe a site that looked people's marriage certificates, and I was trying to find this maybe non-existent marriage certificate for a long time. Anyway, my point is that was the day I opened my Substack, and that was the day I wrote my first post, which is called "People Who Stay," where I just criticize the entire point of love in modern relationships. It's just me whining.
Well, I mean, you had I mean, being abandoned in like a completely different place and not knowing is kind of, excessive. Like that's tough. Like I don't wish that on anybody, but I think you have handled it really well, my friend. And
Thank you.
I hope at this point you have realized that both of those men are not worth any of your time.
I think none of the guys that ever answered in my life is not worth that. They weren't worth any of my time, to be fair.
Okay, that is to be fair, but I'm sure that they all had their own lessons. I w it just you just kinda sparked something that I just was talking with somebody else about, and, like, when somebody comes and catches your attention, do you feel like it's truly them, or are they mirroring something that you wish you had within you?
I never thought of the part where it's like mirroring something that I wish I would have within me. If like, but my initial thought that when you asked the question was, I think I never see the person as who they are. I just have a lot of capacity for romanticizing, and I have a lot of capacity for building expectations, and I have a lot of stories that I built in my mind. So I think I don't feel hesitant. I'm a delusional person. Like I just like I'm like, it's not gonna lie and like, no, I'm gonna be honest with this. So when meet people, I used to be more wishful. Now I try to be more neutral, but I think I just see the things that I want to see, like, or maybe the personal, maybe that could be the second one. I'm just thinking out loud. What I was going to say was like, I see that person as their ultimate version, the version that I think they could be, or somehow to evolve, which all never happened. But maybe that's just them reflecting a part of me that I wish I had. I will think about this. It's interesting.
It
Maybe
is
that
really
will be our
interesting.
week second prompt, guys.
No, I appreciate that that would even make it into your world and your archive and stuff like that, but I was just having this conversation, like, yesterday with somebody, and she said, like, "When I fell for this person," I said, "Well, what did you fall for?" Because sometimes what you are attracted to in someone else is something that you wish is within yourself, and I'm not saying all the time, right? I'm not saying that that's the only reason why people fall in love with one another. It just was an interesting conversation and happened to just be true for this said person. Hello, beautifully broken. I have lost complete track of our chat, by the way. There are amazing humans in here that
Yeah, they're all sweet.
that I have not been able to interact with. So I do feel bad. Time is flying though.
Yeah, it is. I hate it. Yeah.
This is what happens when me and IMI apparently sits down for a conversation. We just kind of get lost in the sauce and
Mhm.
time just goes phew, and I don't know how to, like, slow it down a second because that's what sometimes if I maybe this is another unique question. If you could have a superpower, what would it be? Because mine might be, like, slowing down time,
Oh,
literally.
interesting. Would you really want to slow down time?
Maybe like, if I was able to like, slow like, a situation down, like, if I was experiencing something that I really enjoyed in the moment, I wanted to just kinda, like, slow it down so I could
That's
actually, like,
nice.
like absorb it fully without it just like going by. Like, you ever have I mean, I've had this with you, but I mean, like when you're having these conversations with like said maybe romantic person in your life, and you're just like 1 minute it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the next minute it's 7 o'clock at night, and you have like the sadness that damn they have to leave. Has
Yeah,
that you experienced that, right?
I did, and I think it's more of a like a more of a them. Like I hate that this is happening when it's like the end, like 10 o'clock, and you just break up. So it's just like that's just like starting from there. I just want anyway. I do experience that, and all my life I have been a next kid. What's next kid? I love that phrase to Tom. He's not here now, but if he ever watches this replay, spiraling Tom's spiraling in a world. I love that phrase. So I've always been a what's next kid, and I always kept thinking about the future whenever I had like yeah, whenever I was involved in an activity or in a conversation that I really enjoyed, which kind of I think took the pleasure of it away because I was worried that the next moment would not be as much as fun. So I just hate when I enjoy, but with romantic partners, like for example, my ex-boyfriend, we had a long distance relationship, and when I was spending time with them, we always had a limited time, and like I was always going, and either way, we were always gonna separate
Right.
from another. So I always I kept wishing that we had more time.
Fine. Yeah, so that's what I mean, and like that not like slow it down and like, drown out like life, but like just in certain moments, if I got to like stop time for a second and
I
got
would
to
love that
experience
too. Yeah.
experience that with somebody, that would be pretty cool. Damon said that their superpower is rhythm schemes. Pow pow pow. uh, Go
I
ahead.
began I began to think like what would I wish for a superpower? I thought about this question a lot before and I have asked many people. But I'll think about it and not pause the entire conversation while I think.
Well, I'm just reading some of these comments. I'm trying to be
Hmm.
as interactive as possible. You know that I'm a big fan of the chat. They make these spaces, so
I love this. Like this is my favorite things about this podcast. I love like to have it interactive with the people who are watching.
yeah. Because I mean, I've watched a lot of lives over my time, whether it be here on Substack or the originator of it, which to me is TikTok. And I'm not gonna say there's a right way to do it, but I just feel like if you're gonna host something and yeah, you have said person that you're talking to, it just feels more collective when you actually pay attention to what everybody else is also saying. And like
Exactly.
that just happens to be like the way that I think it should be, and that's my right way. And I'm not saying that there's wrong ways. I'm just saying that that's my preferred way.
Exactly.
um Tanner said you are falling in that potential, almost
I
manipulating
yeah, I
yourself to
agree.
love, and that person never found that place.
Yeah, I also completely agree, Hannah. And I wanted to say that while we were on that topic, I also wanted to say I realized this a while ago. I think like I had two boyfriends in my life and I had multiple and a lot of situationships. But both in these relationships, I think when I looked at the person, I saw the way that they loved me in the relationship. So like I kind of loved the way that they loved me because they were loving me the exact way that I wanted to be loved,
Yeah.
which is not healthy.
Well, okay, but why is being loved in the way that you want to be loved not healthy? What did I
Because
miss?
because then it's like it relies on something that can change, you know, like also I know people can change too, but if you love if you love the way that they love you, that love can change a lot of times, and then that make me so dependent on the way that I receive their affection
Mhm.
and the
Uh,
way that they behave generally. So by the way, both of them got quite obsessed, like possessive, but yeah,
right, I remember you actually saying that in a
both of
as well.
them. I think I have a pattern.
Well, I mean, being able to identify the pattern is one way to finally break the pattern, right? So,
Yeah,
being able to be honest with yourself about it, because it does take a lot of it takes a lot of one person to identify their own patterns within, whether it's dynamics of friendships or, you know, romantic partners or even with your family. I recently wrote about how I finally realized that I have taught people how to treat me.
you have taught them.
Right, like, we all teach like, every individual teaches the outside how to treat them. So by me never like standing up for myself or saying anything or communicating how I was feeling about something and just kind of accepting stuff, I
Mhm.
taught people that I will shrink, that I will compromise, that I will be reliable, that I taught them this, like this is what it was. So, when that came to a realization, obviously the way that I move became a little bit different.
Can I remember where you left? Can I just grab my medications here? Sorry, guys, I have a neurological condition. I have to take timely medications. But yeah,
Well,
I think
why are you apologizing? Do not
I
apologize.
don't know. So I
Take it
guess
back.
this is like a impromptu.
Well,
One of
yeah, this
my
is a whole impromptu conversation, so
one of my talents is to be able to swallow a pill without the
Right.
water.
That is, I mean, that was something that I don't want to say, but I will. I mastered as an addict because there are a lot of times where taking pills were necessary and maybe necessary having things. But I remember being like the kid that I couldn't swallow anything. Like I was so bad at it. Like I would gag every time. Like I was this teenager that couldn't even take an aspirin. And then one day it all changed.
Yeah, it does. That happens. So,
Nicole said
uh-huh.
something really interesting. So I just wanted to share it real quick. When you look at your partner, you will see your level of self-esteem. Sadly, there are people willing to take advantage of this.
Wait, when you look at your partner, you see your level of self esteem, then I'm doomed. Like my old partner.
But
Yeah.
that's the whole that's why the cliche love your you can't love somebody else without loving yourself or whatever the case that line or whatever. And that's why I feel like it has come to so much understanding for me because like I really cannot expect somebody else to love me if I don't love me, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I mean it makes sense.
There are lots of things for me to unpack about that. I'll think about those. What were you saying before I took my medication? What were we talking about? About
Oh,
I
oh.
forgot. Yeah.
Maybe somebody in the chat can remember. This is obviously really bad. We're really bad at the memory.
Oh,
Speaking of
I want to. There was like something that I wanted to add. I was the same, like all my life. I was a conflict avoidant person. Especially, I think this habit of mine grew with my sisters because I love them both. They're my biggest influences. They shaped me to how I am today. But they were just like had 2 years of age between them. They fought all the time. I was decade younger than them. So they always wanted me to take sides and be political in between. I was always the mediator. So I just learned how to be political. And in time, that turned into me avoiding conflict, which as I grew up, that started to hurt me because like I always kept everything inside. And sometimes if people were genuine, they didn't like that because they wanted to have unhealthy communication. But with one of my sisters, I'm just gonna tell this because this is the thing. I was proud of myself today. We I woke up with a sibling drama today. Like this, as soon as I unlocked my phone's airplane mode, like I just like have 5 messages from my sister. She had some issues with one of my friends I call one of my best friends. She was like upset that I'm friends with her again. I was gonna lie at first. That's my tendency when someone like approaches me with a confrontation. I tend like my initial response is I want to lie and like not be a part of this. I was going to. I drafted the message and I was like, wait a minute, why do I lie? Just like I this is how I like want to continue to have relationships in my life. So I just explained everything about it and went on honestly. And then all day I just kept like bosses like high pop songs and just like kept being proud of myself. So I love the idea of like teaching people how you wanted to be treated. I never saw it as that way. But I think today was a big step for me in order to just like grow up.
Well, I mean, just by you drafting a whole message and then questioning why that was your instinct to write,
Hmm.
like to respond to something like that, I think is a huge step. I think, like I said, sometimes we need to give ourselves a little pat on the back or a little bit more grace or
Hmm.
celebrate the small ones because they do accumulate into bigger ones. And by you taking that moment and maybe redrafting something that isn't a lie, is your first step into a new cycle of you and a new future for
Yeah.
you. So I'm very proud of you. That again, that takes a lot to admit, and especially so publicly.
Yeah, no, I do. I love to share these kind of things, guys. I'm not sure if the message reached her because she sent her message and blocked me, but I just sent it from our group chat too, so she has no way of avoiding
That's
my
okay.
first moment of pride because that was where it all started with her, with them, especially her. So yeah, thank you.
Well, I mean, it does. It's you're welcome, but it is kind of sometimes unfortunate when siblings aren't seeing eye to eye about said friend or something. Like, I have only one sister, and I wouldn't allow her to tell me who I can and cannot be friends with. Like, it shouldn't impact her life in that great area where, in any type of way that it would that she would feel the need to or be motivated. Like, I can obviously give her like, we could give each other opinions about, well, this is kind of how I feel about this person. And that information is for each person to utilize how we want. Like, she's had friends that I haven't really necessarily cared for, but that's not my it's not my path, not my business. Like, you wanna be friends, like,
Yeah.
you'll learn your lesson if they're actually not that great a person. Or maybe I'll learn my lesson because I'm the one that's the fool because they're actually really great and I assumed things. So lessons go both ways.
To be on full disclosure, this person of like this friend of mine did something bad. Like she did something that wasn't like nice to my sister, and my sister was right to be mad at her. But
Right.
I believe everyone deserves a second chance, and I believe in reasons that exacerbate some kind of behaviors on people, like some kind situational factors. She was in a very abusive relationship at the time, and her judgment, like decision making judgment, wasn't working properly. I learned a lot and listened to her a lot, and I understood her. So it's like my sister have the tendency always being like, oh, like she has the tendency to be right, like to want to be right all the time. So like for me, like that's like life is not as black and white as that. There are gray areas, and like people can like have a lot of issues in the past and can come up as new people. That is like something that people must consider, and none of us are perfect.
I agree. Brittany, hello. Greg, thanks for joining. My okay, so this is where you saying something kind of like, I don't want to use the word triggered, but it did kind of bring me back to a state of, just because you can empathize with somebody's situation doesn't make it okay that they have certain behaviors. Like like that to me, like those are the two things that I have learned maybe my own hard way. Like, just because I can empathize why somebody is doing something doesn't mean that their behavior is okay.
Yes, exactly.
So, just because you can empathize with your friend doesn't mean that her behavior's okay. And, like, giving people second chances is cool, but, like, does that second chance then become a third chance, or does it become a fourth chance, or does it become a fifth chance? Like, does that keep becoming, like, a chance? Like, that's my thing.
Yeah, I think that's quite right. And I completely agree. If I can empathize with her in this particular situation, but I don't think she's right. I don't think what she's done is merely even something it's not okay at all. And I must like frame that to my sister. Although I can see it from this particular view, it doesn't mean I find it justified, and I don't agree with her. In terms of three or four or fifth, this was the only problem that I ever had with that friend. And she has been the most thoughtful person and like considerate person. And like in terms of three, four, fifth chance from now, if it happens, I don't think like three that should lead to four and five. That is just like taking advantage of someone's good intentions or maybe some other phrase. But like from where I am at, I cannot predict if there is gonna be three or four.
No, I know, and I'm speaking more of maybe in a hypothetical situation, not so close to said
Me,
person. Like,
okay.
not this specific one. Like, just in general, like when someone says, "Oh, everybody deserves a second chance," I do feel like then that becomes a snowball of chances, and it's just like, because again, I have empathy for said humans' encounters in life that have been difficult. We all have fucking difficult lives. It doesn't justify or make anything okay what somebody does, and if you can communicate, maybe you're the person that gets to know that person and your communication style fits with their way, and they're able to actually see what you're saying, and then you start seeing that they're actually able to take necessary change to become
Mhm.
something better, then that's maybe different. But if you're getting the same responses that they give to you to everybody else, and it's just becoming a redundant kind of
I
pattern and habit,
agree.
then that's just where I'm just like, okay, I don't think anybody gets more than one chance with me. And then
I agree.
maybe that's just me being a little bit of a hard ass nowadays because of wisdom and lived experience where I just don't have fucking time for people and their games.
Of course, like, but also like it's like as much as we preserve our time, we should also preserve our energy. I recently started to think about that too, and I definitely agree. Like, like if a person is just giving the answers, like saying, responding to you just because that's what will keep the relationship going, or that's what they feel like you want to hear, that is not okay. And if for me, like whenever that happens with someone more than multiple times, I just retreat. Like I just like that's my way of like detaching from a relationship. I don't tell them again. So I have this threshold that is up here, and up until there I can compromise. I can like give a lot of effort to you, just try to understand and be there. But like until that point, people tend to think I'm naive, aka some kind of a dumb person, where I just like they think like I'm, like I can be easily deceived. But if I just like I know everything and I remember everything, it's just like my way of doing it. It's not maybe healthy. But if they pass that threshold, I'm just done caring about you. No way, no, never returning back. So that's just maybe that my toxic behavior. But if like yeah.
So I feel like this is the first conversation where I've heard you communicate more often than the other two that we've had very not so kind to yourself. And I'll be honest with you, I don't like the way you're talking about my friend right now.
Do you think so?
Yeah,
Really?
because you're
Yeah.
like, I don't think you're toxic. I think everybody has their own, like you said, threshold, and you have your own ways of dealing with said people in your life. And to Robert's point, he said, no energy is needed to be wasted. And I just think at a certain point in our life, we can kind of see through some things, and we can see maybe people's patterns or intentions. And while we might think that they're a good person, or we might feel like they are deserving of said opportunities or whatever the case may be, or like to the bigger point of we empathize with what's going on, it doesn't mean that you have to continue to allow them access to you. And it doesn't mean that you're toxic for not having or for not allowing them in, you know? I
I
think
think so. Mhm.
I I think that I don't always remember everything that is just recently said, but I just feel like you were communicating in a way that made me feel like I don't want you to say negative things about you because I think you're amazing. So whatever the situation is with said friend and sister, it is what it is. It's out there, but it brought up a cool, to me, a hypothetical situation that I think everybody in this room has kind of been
Yeah.
through because a lot of people have had a lot of input in there. Canner says, I mean, you it is better not to talk that way about to yourself. Yeah, like, it was just I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I know you're adorable.
No, no, no.
I've never heard you, like, speak so
I think I know
unkind to
why. Yeah, you made me reflect a lot, and I think that was a quite great observation because if you hadn't pointed out, I wouldn't realize. But Carlos is here. I saw him joining, and he would understand. And that we have a collaboration that is exactly titled as this. This has been a very long winter, and in this long winter, I just like I like there were times where I was quite depressive. Lots of I told you before while we were chatting, like guys, I had more than 10 existential crises, upcoming, like up to date, maybe 8 depressive episodes. And I think like through it all, I just kept blaming myself all the time. And then like since I spent so much time on myself, I have the tendency for blaming myself. And like when things didn't go in the right way that I wanted them to go, I tend to point my fingers to myself quite easily. I think that's the way thing that I picked up as I grew up. And I am like I tried like I out of everyone, I am always just like internally, not explicitly saying out loud, but am the least kind to myself. So that made me realize maybe like, yeah, I should be kinder to myself. And I think this is an impact of not having things being sorted out. I was expecting to have a job around this time of year. And like,
Well, some of
yeah,
us might have encouraged you to quit your last one, so I apologize.
I like wholeheartedly I owe everyone who encouraged me to leave that job a huge amount of thanks. That is something that had should to be done. Like since I started writing this frequently, I just like tend to like I become more engaged with my thought patterns and emotions a lot more. And since my parents visited me, I was more kinder to myself after quitting the job and before my father came. But after my father came, I just I think that has still lingered on me in a way that I haven't really gotten over. But I'm aware of it. But thank you for bringing that to light. I will definitely think about that and be kind to myself.
Yeah, it was just I was in a writing group and we used like WhatsApp and then they did a Zoom and I participated in one of the Zoom call and I was talking and the person who was in charge of the writing group kept saying, "I don't really like the way you're talking about my friend right now." And I was just
That's
like and
so
that was like her nice way of calling out my like self-sabotaging ways or the way that I was communicating negatively about myself. So I wasn't really trying to like say call you out or anything like that, but I know that you have a unique positivity about yourself, and I know that you were somebody that is always evolving and in lifetime with us. So I just wanted to just say that I think sometimes you don't give yourself as much credit because we all are going through a very long season.
good.
Winter has been tough. Really
Yeah,
tough, and it's different where you are to where I am. I mean,
yeah.
I've lived in New York a long time. I spent some time away from it, but I lived in New York majority of my life, and I don't remember a winter this cold with this much snow. So the sun is important. Being able to be seen, and I was talking with you earlier about how the UK has had a lot of rain and, the effects of not really seeing sunlight and, it does play a role in this. So, I appreciate you being here.
I thank you for having me. Of course, I was just intrigued by a questions written by Robert in the chat. He said, "Why are you sharing so much, Amy?"
Hmm.
What can we have a bit more clarification on that question, Robert?
Well, if Robert is new to me and you, well, probably definitely me, we are very vulnerable people, and I think I've learned to overshare because of childhood stuff, but I think I choose now in my adult life to share because I have like this undoubting knowing that I am not the only person that's going through the things that I've gone through or going through it. And if I am bold enough and honest enough to share kind of some of the things that I'm going through, it may open a pathway for somebody else to feel comfortable to share. And that's where connection forms and that's where humanity lives and that's where people feel the most seen and heard and appreciated and loved and adored and all the cool things. And that's what people deserve to feel. So I can only answer for me. I am always looking for more, but I feel like when somebody is sharing a lot, it could come from a healed place, or it could definitely come from a place of that's something that they've been doing their whole life. I now choose to do it for a very specific reason. Hey, Michelle, thanks for joining. I think it's not oversharing like an emotional dumping. It's just genuine conversation. Completely
I
agree.
Yeah, for me also, like I believe like I have two ideas that is leading me to be like share about myself that is could be seen too much by others. But for me, first of all, I believe in healing from each other's stories. So if I'm just telling mine openly, maybe some people can see themselves and feel less alone, which I try to do and implement on my writing a lot too. And also, there's a good old rule in storytelling where you say, don't explain, show. And I think like when you're explaining a state of yourself, it's just like easier and more impactful to explain it through what is causing that true lived experience because that makes it embodied and that makes it grounding what you're trying to tell. Like, yeah, that's my tip.
Well, I mean, I do feel like we're aligned, and that's why you are now the reigning co-host and have been here the most times. And I look
Oh,
forward to even whatever future one comes our way, or the great IMI is going to come up with her own podcast that
maybe.
because she doesn't have enough things on her plate right now. But if she does, I look forward to being hopefully a part of that
Yeah,
too.
of course.
This
Like you'll be like one of my guests of honors. By the way, am I the guest who just returned the most to your show?
Yep. This is you were the one that's definitely been here the most. You're 3. Michelle Ray has been 2. There's a couple other people that have been. Brittany's been twice. I'm gonna have a couple this month that are gonna be their second time around. So right now
I'm
you are the front
honored.
runner.
Yeah, I'm honored. Thank you. It feels like not so long ago when we did our first. Hi, HBR, just joined. Hey, friend.
I think
Uh,
Robert answered you.
I didn't see. What did he say?
Telling your story of self is a learning moment. Should never be a self defense.
Do you think? Wait. Interesting. Self defense.
I mean, everybody's this is the fun thing about life is everybody has their own perception of a situation. So, I don't know if that was the way that that person felt it was coming off, but I definitely didn't feel that way. Hello, HDR.
I'm in class. I have no sound on, but hi, people. It's so cool. Such a cool teacher who is logging, like going on a live podcast while he's in class.
You should turn us on and just have your cat class watch us. That's
Maybe like
obvious.
from the slideshow. I just want to briefly explain to that self-defense comment, Robert. Thank you for just like allowing us to reflect on the conversation we had. I always value the opportunity to go deeper with other questions that prompt sometimes maybe different answers. Mine wasn't self-defense because I'm not sure because like how it came off across, but just like explaining myself. Maybe that's all I can say.
I don't know. I think again, I think it's sticky because everybody perceives life through the lenses that they've lived, and it's hard for any one person to really be in somebody else's shoes and understand what the capacity of where they're coming from or their intent or anything like that. So, you know, everybody is allowed their own opinion or observation.
Hmm.
That's how I always see it. Um, all right, cool. Well, it has been 45 minutes of fucking amazing
Just
amazing shooting the shit. We're here shooting the shit. I appreciate everybody who has joined us today. I am not kicking anybody off or out. I am opening up the floor to any other questions or conversation or prompts. I am over here thinking about how many people believe in like energetically. I don't know how to say that word apparently, but today's 3-3. And some people have talked about, like, we had, like, a blood moon and, like, cosmic stuff that happens. And then I was listening to somebody who was like, "We're made up of 60% water, and obviously the moon affects tides like oceans, low tide, high tide. So we would be naive to think that the moon doesn't also affect us." How do you feel about that?
Moon definitely affects us, just like any other planet on the sky. Because like they're like we are human. Like as far as I know, I may be wrong, but we are made up of elements, and water is one of them. So think about it this way: the moon itself is like controlling, and it has that like it pulls and pushes the tides itself. Like that's one part of it. So it definitely has a control over our elements, which is just like how things regulate. Besides that, it's like women tend to have a blood cycle that is formulated by like the moon itself. So that's just I think it's impossible for moon to not have an impact on us.
Well, I mean, it's obviously some people agree. Brittany, I am glad that you chimed in with full lunar eclipse, baby. Um, Heather says, I felt that energy and the moon affect us, but I'm also native and believe a lot of things. Lunacy is well
Uh,
documented. What is lunacy is well documented. So wait, I need more exclamation there.
and I like which moon was the one we were having now? What did you say? Like solar or
It was a full lunar eclipse, but there was a blood moon that happened at early times this morning across the United States, but I'm believing all countries should have been able to see it.
I
Canner
would
says,
love. Uh-huh.
hold on, I'm sorry, I was reading. Canner says even just the scene of moon enchanting, absolutely. Robert says we are light, sound interference patterns, and 73% water, 13 zodiacs. Yes, sir.
I'm curious though, like what's like what because like all full moons has its own meaning. So I'm wondering what is this one is about.
Well, if Brittany's still in here, I know that she knows a couple of things. But there's also like Virgo. It's something in Virgo and or Mercury retrograde and Pisces. Like so, there's a lot of different stuff happening, and I think cosmically it does affect the energies of each individual human. That's why I was so excited to have this conversation with you today because I felt like the energies of today are going to be very enlightening.
I
Um,
think so. Even the day itself felt like that. So I think so too. And I love the prompt concept. Like it's just like sometimes spontaneity brings up the best stuff. So yeah, I was excited for this talk too.
Well, I know we're both like we could be very chatty with one another, so I wasn't really concerned that there would be no conversation. So that's why I was comfortable to do the no questions. But Philippa says lunacy to be affected by the moon, a lunatic, someone who is affected by the moon. That's interesting. I just thought that was normal. Brittany said blood moon happened because the sun was covering the moon. Yes, 333 PST on 3 3, which was just lots of threes. I remember seeing that. So Pacific Standard Time, it would have been at 3. That was at in the morning though, right, Brittany? Eclipse season is always intense.
It is.
Um, Ebbett says, my twin tried to stab me yesterday and break into my house, scared my fiance terribly. It was wild. He was having mythological delusions, and his posts were all about the blood moon, and he had to seek retribution. Sorry, not sure if that's an appropriate answer. I think that I can appreciate that you even shared any of that answer. And it does have to Philippa, or I don't know if I'm saying your name right. Let me go back up. I think that's it. It sounds like lunacy really ran through your twin, which is interesting in a twin setting that one is affected and not both.
I think like is it that like for the like the one identical twins or
I
just
would just I would any like paternal like any type of twins. I just feel like because they literally grew in the same space, there would be a higher connection than anything else.
I
That would
think
just be the way
so.
my brain thought. But
Mhm. So psychologically, I think like from the studies that I like we've been taught, like what I know is like in terms of behavior and connection, I cannot say it like how I believe the same as you, but like in terms of similarities and how they react, or generally, so identical twins that even grew up apart tend to wait. I forgot. I'm not sure. I want to give the. I just forgot. Sorry.
It's okay. I love that you rather not just lie, but to give something
Yeah.
extra. Brittany
Yeah.
said, "Eclipse is not a traditional full moon. It's a really intense time that can absolutely shake things up in your life, flip things on its head, cause confusion." Yeah, I've been confused for a while, so.
I'm still confused.
I, um, I can't say that word, Robert, but is the 13th follows the 28 days of menstrual cycle. So I guess they were talking about what you were talking about. Talk to police or mental health nurses. They know lunacy is real. No, I believe it. I totally believe it. I know somebody who's in that mental health profession, and she says every time there's a full moon, things kind of hit the fan. I'm glad
Things
that
hit what?
they hit the fan. Like everybody kind of has their own little moment. I'm glad that he got help. People with schizophrenia have a hard time at the equinoxes. To me that would make sense though.
That is quite interesting, I think.
Well, I mean they already have multiple voices that they communicate with or listen to, so I feel like it would definitely be heightened during any of these full moons or eclipse seasons. Or what about Mercury retrograde, Brittany?
Mercury, oh, that's the worst. I just hate that.
I mean, that's where I think it's also happening. We're also in retrograde season right now.
Ah, okay, okay. Now it sounds
That's
kind
what
of
I'm
makes
saying.
sense.
There's a lot of things energetically going on, which is why some people that uh, study this, believe in this, feel like Fire Horse Year is going to literally flip everything upside down because of all the things that are happening.
Is it like I've been curious about what this fire horse year was about? Do we have more information? Because Snake Year sucked, kind of. What's
Right. So
this one
Snake Year
about?
was the year of shed, right?
Yeah,
So we're
kind
shedding a lot of
of.
old identities, shedding old beliefs, shedding stuff. I feel like Fire Horse energy is just fast moving. But if anybody has more in detailed information, obviously I would love to hear. Uh, Felipe says, I think everyone is a lunatic, but some are more sensitive than others. I agree. Boss Babe, thanks for joining. Emma says, yeah, it hurts so much. Identical. Oh, see, they're identical. Alexi said, I worked with two twins. He has mirror image handprints to mine. Wow, that's interesting. So they're identical twins that have mirror image handprints. That's very interesting. So does that mean that like if one of you commits a crime, you both could be brought in and charged?
I
Well,
think
neither.
that could be done because they don't. I think like one of like in terms of replacing each other, right? You mean?
Mhm.
I think that could be done because they do quite look alike. I think that I could like even with me and my sisters, like we're not even twins, but we look so much alike. And maybe not like as much as, but I think that's doable.
Alright, okay, so Philippa. I know, I'm making a weird accent with my with your name, I do apologize. Uh, no, they don't. Schizophrenia is like a split mind scenario. It is continuous insanity. Well, that's somebody says, "Robert, that's not true. DID and schizophrenia are very different." Yeah, I and there's a couple of writers on here that actually do have DID. So,
What's the full name of the ID?
some type of disorder, I forget.
Guys, if you know, you can write it. Skips. Um, Interesting. I found all of those mental illnesses so like they're just like but they're all a spectrum though. Not everyone experiences them in the same intensity, and doesn't mean if you have schizophrenia, you're gonna live that way until the end of your life. Because like from my knowledge and experience in mental health, it's just like people. So schizophrenia and those kind of disorders are just to be treated. They need medication for sure, but that doesn't mean that they're doomed to just keep having to live with those voices in their mind. That could be kept under control, although not ideal, but yeah.
I think
Kind of
that's the problem is that most of them don't wanna take the medication because it doesn't
makes
they
them
are
numb, right?
yeah, like, and then they're used to kinda having their friends with them, so, again, I don't wanna speak out of turn because I do not have said disorders or anything like that, but Monday's wife said, you said she said something about the Fire Horse, "Don't make long-term financial commitments during Fire Horse, so all year, don't invest in anything." Like, what are you trying to say here? What are you trying to say here, ma'am? My understanding is the year of the Fire Horse is about action, yeah, fast moving. Those who take action will benefit the most, so keep taking action, IMI.
Yeah, well, this year is definitely my year of action. Yeah, hopefully.
Uh, everybody you guys overwhelm me sometimes because I don't dissociative identity disorder, there you go. That's what DID stands for.
Alex, thank you for providing us with that knowledge.
I was like, I knew it was some type of I knew I just my brain, apparently is malfunctioning at this point of the live, and I do apologize. Um, with that being said, it is what time is it there? What, 6?
It's 7, like 3 to
7?
7 here.
7? What do you do for dinner? Do you eat dinner before we go live, or do you
No,
wait till we
after
get
I eat after. So my usual set. So basically, my usual I eat around 7 8. I cannot eat earlier than 7. The medication I took, it's just like it requires me to like not eat anything for an hour after. So 7 8. Though like I don't like eating that much recently. It's just like the effort of it. I wish I loved cooking more. And whenever I just try to cook, it's just quite grounding. It's the process to convince myself to cook.
It's for me, it's well, yeah, the process sometimes, like, I'm a little bit lazy, and I'm usually, like, when I wanna eat, it's like, "Oh, I'm now starving and I need to eat now," and now the thought of it's gonna take me an hour to prepare
Yeah.
something, that drives me crazy, but it's just like, this is something that I wish school systems did differently. Like, I remember back in the day, there was a cooking, like, class, like, home ec, right? And I just don't feel like that exists anymore, and I feel like I wasn't properly prepared in life to make this said decision every day of my life.
Yeah.
So if anybody else struggles with like, I have horrible decision paralysis when it comes to feeding myself. And that sounds
Me
absolutely
too.
insane because, like, that's something that we have to do for, like, the entirety of our life. Does anybody have, like, a set, like, menu that they, like, utilize and rotate? Like, I'm over here trying to figure out how to continue to make my life easier without stressing myself out, and I have tried said menus, and then I get bored, and I'm like, "But I want something different," and I'm like, I only know how to make, like, 5 things anyway. Most people know that I know how to make a lot of pizza. So, I
Five
make
is
lots of
not,
pizza.
yeah, but five is like some like that's my next level. So I have a quite narrow list. Like I like mostly I just save myself by making a tuna salad with some pasta in it. That's became my go to. dish. But yeah, I just yeah, that's it. I don't know. I've never been a person who made like lists prior to the week, but I just have to figure out how to wait to cook all the time because yeah, I
Well,
cannot.
It
Hmm.
it it was it was interesting because 'cause I'm obviously a big fan of, like, said TV shows like Big Bang Theory and Young Sheldon, and in Big Bang Theory, Sheldon talks about how some of the most intellectual people, they just eat the same thing, like, food isn't necessarily, like, something to make a spectacle over, like, it is
Hmm.
just a way to nourish oneself, so they will just eat the same stuff because it's less of a decision that they can utilize their brain to focus on the things that they're trying to do or come up with or whatever the case might be. I was always curious about Home Chef, Boss Babe. It's just like for me, like budget wise, it just doesn't seem something that I want to, I guess, maybe spend my money on per se. That's like one of those. The food gets delivered to you and it has like recipes and stuff. I mean, it seems a little bit easier, but uh, Philippa, Philippa, right? That's what I said. It says, "I hate cooking. I have a burger on the way." Uh, are you a smash burger type of person, or are you like, "Just give me a big meaty burger?" Either one.
Me?
Yeah,
I'm
anyway.
not a yeah, I'm not a burger person.
Are you a meat person at all?
Yeah, I love meat. I just generally love meat. I think I'm absolutely a meat person, but I just don't eat burgers a lot, those kind of things. Yeah.
Uh,
You?
I don't eat a lot of burgers either. I have been craving a burger recently, but I have not, like, gotten myself said burger. Um, I have this thing where I don't really like the food here in America, so
You
I
don't? No, no.
No. So, I mean, I do go grocery shopping more, so I, like, can make my own stuff, but I still don't trust a lot of our food. But that's a whole separate situation. The Blasphemous Herald says there are a lot of quick recipes you can make, even have fun cooking. I have like I said, cooking has become like a love language for me because
Mhm.
if I can dedicate the time in my ADHD brain to
Mhm.
get myself, like, okay about it, like, I do like preparing said meals for myself because then I feel like that's a form of love, like, loving myself
Mhm.
in a way for me anyways.
Mhm. Yeah. I was just like thinking, I'm just curious too much. Like whenever you talk about it there, I'm just like, I've never been to New York and I'm just too curious about it. So yeah. When you talked about you not trusting the food in there, I was just starting to imagine myself in the streets of New York. So
Well, I mean, New York itself has, like, amazing places to eat out and stuff, but I still just in when I say here, I mean, like, America in general, like,
I know.
I just don't feel
Yeah,
like
you
our
don't.
food is
Yeah.
just because when I hear stuff like, "Oh, well, other countries have completely banned things that are literally in our food," I'm just like, "Hmm, that kinda seems weird."
Yeah. UK just stepped out of that too, by the way. Like there was some sort of a name on it that some sort of food weren't allowed in the Europe and UK used to use the same thing. We just like that's off the chart now.
See, to me, it's very interesting. I just like, how are we all sharing the same earth, but have like all these different regulations around food or
Mm,
requirements around food? It's just interesting to me. And I
I think
mean,
so.
back in the day, like very far back in the day, when there was hunters and gatherers, they were eating actual like animals, right? Like
Yeah.
real animals that were eating off of said land. So I don't know. Things make my brain go. Whoop.
No, me too. Like it's just like interesting stuff to ponder over, like how much it's like our realities change depending on which region. And it's not something that we can choose, it's just where we are born into. So that's also an interesting concept. I just find yeah, everything is interesting for me.
Well, I mean, everything is a I think the way that you think it allows everything to be interesting.
Maybe, yeah, true, true, true.
The way you break things down, it allows everything to be interesting. Because even what you just said, I mean, I've maybe not necessarily thought of it that said way. I just think about it in the evolution of things, like, that kind of blows my mind that, like, humans have been around for a really long time, and the way that we now look at food and process food and do things with food is very different than the way that some of them had to. Like, there was no option, like, squirrel it was, you know? Whatever you could find, whatever fish, whatever it was, that's what you ate.
Yeah, but this evolution thing of humans just really fascinates me. Like the intelligence that we have, the brain that we get, like actually we literally had like sometimes I just think about how they came up with the fire. Even I know that fear prompted that, because like they were afraid of strike and etc. But like those trial and the place, as you said, like the place we are now, the things that we build, the things that we create, the things that we eat, we don't even have to grow it anymore. The stuff that we eat, so it's interesting. I think so.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it could be fascinating. I think it's also interesting how our lovely chat has shown up even about this conversation. So apparently we do have a mix of people who like burgers, like real burgers, and now some people want burgers. But there are also people that like smash burgers. So I mean, it's in there. And then I saw Alex wrote Taco Bell, and I'm like,
I've
what?
never had Taco Bell
No.
ever in my life. Never had it.
No, I
But
mean,
they say,
I refuse to eat it, but, no, that's a no
why
for
do you
me.
refuse? I've been told I was missing out of Taco Bell, but why do you refuse to not eat it? Like, refuse to eat it?
I mean, I don't think you're missing out on anything, honestly.
You think?
I don't think you're missing out on anything. Robert, I love that you love to cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I don't eat
Me
lunch.
too. Yeah, sorry.
I don't eat lunch.
I don't eat lunch too.
Yeah, I do, like I do have, like, breakfast, like, there's a couple of meals that I'll rotate throughout my week, and then dinner is fair game. I do like making my own pizza or pizza pinwheels or whatever, like a calzone, like, anything I can make from a pizza dough is, like, my jam, apparently.
Mhm. I
So
just can eat. Yeah, I can. I if that's what if I understood correctly, I also love breakfast. Like that's my favorite meal. I don't eat lunch either, but I can like eat breakfast for both dinner and like breakfast itself. So just generally, I'm a breakfast fan.
Yeah, I like breakfast for dinner too. It's I feel like a real rebel when I do that, and it's, like, my favorite thing. Pancakes are, like, one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Uh,
Turkish breakfast is quite nice. We have a killer
what is it?
breakfast. Like there is like not like we like similar like we have lots of things like some pastry, some meat stuff, eggs itself, like vegetables. So just generally I just love to have like different stuff that is for one meal that you can grab some of each. When you come to London, I'll prepare original Turkish breakfast for
So
you. I make killer
there's
breakfast.
there's so much that we have to do. You apparently now have to make me breakfast, and we have to learn how to make sushi together, so
Yeah, and I'm gonna come to New York one day too, for sure.
yeah, when you come here, I'll just show you all the amazing places there are to eat.
What is
I won't
like
torture you with my cooking.
but like what is the best season to come to New York?
So it was funny, somebody recently asked me that too, and I said literally, I said April to October, and they laughed, and I was like, "We just don't like winter here, but spring, summer, fall, like, amazing."
I may
And
come this year, honestly.
I mean, for anybody who doesn't get an opportunity to see, like, really nice foliage, obviously the fall is really a beautiful time of year because the leaves are changing colors and everything just and it's a cooler it's not cold, but it gets cooler, so it's just it's a cool season. The summer here is hot.
Mhm.
If you like heat, that's cool. It's like in Florida, it was
Uh-huh.
just nonstop humidity. In New York, it's, like, hot. It's fucking hot. But the spring is, like, the what could be better than a spring? Like, you just got out of a long said winter, and now you can
Yeah.
hear the birds chirping, and it's warming up. It's in the 60s, 70s, and stuff like that, so, again, it's just any time that's not winter is the best time to come to New York. So that's why we have the most tourists, I feel like, because it's beautiful any of those months from April to October. That's a big chunk of months to come visit.
You
Um,
just made it sound so marvelous. I knew it would be, but you may find me in your door, maybe May or
I encourage anybody who has never been to New York to at least come once.
I would love I just wanna live there for like a 2-year time of my life. Sometime, yeah. I will
But
live. Huh?
the only warning that I will say is if you are from a small town or if you are from a place that doesn't have a lot of humans, it can be extremely overwhelming. Like, extremely overwhelming. Like, I am born and raised in the Bronx, New York, which obviously is a highly populated area, which is the part of the concrete jungle, which means that there is more concrete than trees. Um And when I disappeared and lived in Florida for almost 7.5 years, when I came back, even though I was literally in a place that I grew up in, it was very overwhelming and an adjustment for me. So,
Mhm. Yeah, I get that.
yeah, I don't know if there's a Romania here, like something that's comparable to. I mean, maybe I haven't been to every state, so like that's the other thing is like the United States has a plethora of different like cultures and ways of living and stuff like that. New York is very fast, like the city, like Manhattan, what people see in movies, like that's very fast paced. That's
Yeah.
very that's very loud. That's very smelly because there's fucking garbage everywhere because there's tons of people. Robert is saying in Ohio. I guess is that similar? Is that what you're trying to compare to? Boss Babe says I'm from Texas. Where's everyone? Oh, that's why Robert is saying it. Hello from Ohio and Texas. What part of New York are you from? Oh, I just said Bronx. They need more trees in New York. It helps cool the place down. It does, and the cool thing is, like, you can plant a tree, and you can spend some money, plant some trees. Then
Yeah, that's a great idea.
people just cut them down anyway. But um, there is a Poland in Ohio. Is this true? Turkish breakfast, everything in the middle.
He just made a joke that is known by our like well comedian. There's a Turkish comedian. I know the joke, but it's hard to explain. But it's like statement itself is true. Like in Turkish breakfast, we have everything in the middle. True.
Now I'm gonna have to like look it up or something.
I wish like I would send it to you if he has like I bet he must have like subtitles on his shows. Do you like watching stand ups or comedy like those kind of shows?
I mean, who doesn't like comedy? I mean, life is too serious most of the fucking time. We all need a
Yeah.
laugh, no?
Yeah.
Oh, Emmett says New York is amazing. I went to Brooklyn for 2 weeks to get certified as a yoga teacher. When I was in prison, I discovered yoga. It helped me in a lot of different ways. I created the first yoga system in Florida DOC and wanted to become certified when I got out. I went to New York. It truly was grand. Though that's kind of amazing to think about that yoga is now prevalent in Florida DOCs because of that. Like
And I
I'm a
found yes.
like I'm just like anybody that revolutionized something like in a way where something didn't exist and now it does exist is pretty cool. In my
I
opinion.
think so. And also I find it quite fascinating that he uh like implemented this in his life in prison. I
Yeah.
believe that's like amazing. But
They got rid of it. That sucks. Ugh, I mean, too much for the mats, that's why. Yes,
Great
Poland
moment.
and Ohio. It is living space in Minnesota briefly to view truth, which is messed up. It really did help lives. I'm sure. I mean, yoga helps people that aren't incarcerated, so I can only imagine it having major benefits for the ones that have. Um, before we wrap up this amazing conversation, and the only reason I'm going to have to wrap up is my phone will eventually die on all you people. They say
I
escape.
have to be in a call too. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, as usual, I could sit here and probably talk to you forever, and the
Me
amazing people
too.
that love to join us. It's always fun, right?
It is always fun. Like these conversations with you energizes me so much. And then I don't yeah, I do get energized a lot and I love it. And I love that we just said this 3 days ago.
Yeah, it was very impromptu and very sporadic, and again, it is a true blessing for me when I realize that oopsie, I made an oopsie, but I can always message IMI and you're willing
Yeah,
to.
it should be up for yeah.
So that's always a cool oopsie for me.
Aw, so for my end too, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that you will have to do is once we are no longer live, which, will probably be very, very soon, I request that you drop something in your subscriber chat again about your prompt because
Yeah.
we all have until this coming Sunday, right?
Sunday. Yeah.
And just to clarify, if anybody didn't pay attention to the rules of this, it is you're utilizing IMI's prompt to create a post that yes, she has to be tagged in, and then that will be part of the ultimate archive. Correct?
That is correct. So basically, it's for those who weren't here while we were talking about it, and even if you maybe ever heard or came across on Substack, I am building this collective archive where we for my community, where I will be sharing weekly prompts on Monday each week. And if you choose to publish a piece written under that prompt and tag me in it, I will collect each and every one of them, share it in a one shared piece in my own newsletter that will be that I will be keep updating over weekly. And then it will be our own evolving archive where we keep and come back to later in life to see who we were, how we wrote, and what was going on in our lives, which I found is fascinating. Just one rule that I want to underline: you cannot use a former week's prompt for another week. So just like something that we keep building on together. So I would love every one of you to join. Some of you, you as well, told me that you missed the prompt this week. It's okay. I will share it today. I will share it until every day on Sunday. I just want everyone to be able to access it.
Yeah, I think it's an amazing idea, and I'm excited to hopefully be a part of this. Euro guy, okay.
Okay.
But yeah, I love that you're doing this, and I love that there's going to be one place for all of these amazing pieces that are going to come from the prompts that you provide each week. So,
Yeah.
um, also, like I expressed, I believe is don't get upset if there isn't right away engagement from on her behalf.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's going to be a lot of people. Well, that's the hope is that a lot of people are doing these, so it will take a normal human amount of time to get through any of it. And also, she's the one trying to compose it into one space for everybody. So,
Yeah.
do it because you want to. Do it to have fun. Do it to be a part of
Exactly.
something. Um, but as you said,
Exactly.
don't do it for validation.
I was just like, thank you for saying that though, because it's like I am only a one person. There is so much I try to do all together, and I try to like give my time to everyone and everything, but it's just like sometimes too hard. Do it for you, not for me, because that will be our archive. And even if some like I cannot get to engage with it right away, it's gonna be there forever. Like for on my page, and like it feels like our own it's not gonna be the right example for this, but like the tales of fable or fable, there was like all of these stories combined, it's just like a magical idea. So I think if any of you saw the love poem that I created with 30 other writers, where each of every one of us write our own verse about love, it's just like a one standalone poem, and I just love seeing everyone's voices together. And
I was so upset that I missed that note because
oh
that came out so cool, and there were so many of you that I'm fans with that were a part of that
yeah.
house. So I was just like, "Oh, look at me missing shit," because as usual, we were talking about it before I came live, like, I don't have as much bandwidth as I maybe once had, so my ability to show up in Substack space sometimes is limited because life exists outside of it,
Mhm.
and, we have stressors and we have other things that we're trials and tribulations that we're all going through, so sometimes I'm not able to see the things that are on there the days that they come on. So, I enjoy that post. I look forward to seeing what this archive comes to be. And again, if anybody wants to participate, just check out IMI's subscriber chat. Um, Anything else that you want to share before we say goodbye to the people?
No, I just want to say, I tend to think a lot, and and I get like ideas a lot, and I tend to impulsively share them with people and just create projects all of a sudden. So if that love poem, there will be many ahead.
I'm sure. I will, if you really I don't wanna sound like an asshole, but if you really want me to ever be a part of something, you may wanna just be like, "Hey, tag me in a comment," not like just a direct note, like, "Hey, just in case you missed this, you still
Ah,
have
okay,
time."
okay, okay, okay.
And
That
then I'll see it because sometimes I also feel like my algo doesn't show me some of the
yeah,
people's you know what I mean? So, like,
of
some of my notes
course.
I don't always see all of your notes, and that
I
pisses me
don't think so. I really don't think so. And sometimes we don't even see everything that we were tagged. Like yeah, like so that gets lost a lot. I will like yeah,
But, like, apparently, according to some people, is when you tag more than 7 people in a note,
yeah.
they
HBR taught me that trick. Yeah,
yes, Substack feels like it's, spam, so it doesn't
spam.
actually, like, let people know. So you can only apparently tag up to 7 people in a note.
That's a good information to refresh because, like, sometimes I'm just like fun myself when I'm tagging people, like in counting them with my fingers, seeing how many I tagged. So, yeah, 7. I thought it was 9. It's nice to know it's 7.
Yeah, Canner, thank you for calling me out, I appreciate that. Yeah, they go, "Now you are being cruel to yourself." So I'm gonna say with all of my heart, I have probably enjoyed this conversation the most because, spontaneity is really always the win to my heart anyways. This was a great time to be alive, to be present with so many amazing humans that participate in this conversation. You know how much I adore and appreciate you, and I really thank you so much for being somebody that likes showing up in this space so much. I mean, I don't know what I would
Oh.
do without you, man.
Oh, that's the nicest thing that I've ever heard this week, and genuinely it warmed up my heart. It's like so awesome that I love our dynamic, and thank you for being a person who keeps asking me to show up because I love that. Yeah, I just love this space. I think this space, like your podcast, has like a different energy. It like it feels quite warm, and it's just like the name itself does the speaking. It's like an inner room. I love that. It reflects the concept.
It's the inner room that doesn't have, like, VIPs, like, all is welcome. Like, it's not a secluded like, you're not everybody is welcome into the inner room, like, right?
Mhm,
Like, I don't want it to ever sound like, "Oh, this is like a special place, a VIP place." No, like, literally
mhm.
everybody is welcome. Um, quick little secret, IMI was actually the person who reached out to me first, and that's how we actually did our first interview, and since then, I apparently can't stop asking her to come back.
I'm addicted, guys.
But I do
Yeah.
hope that all of you amazing humans have an amazing day. It is a magical day. I know we're all in different times of the day, so make the most of it. I appreciate all of you. I obviously very much appreciate IMI, and we will always be back. Trust me.
Yeah. Before
But
we hang up, I have a marketing idea for you. In a room, maybe if you ever want to use this like as a slogan, you can sit with us.
yes, you can sit with us. Everyone can sit with us.
Yeah,
There's plenty of space at my table. I promise. Always. I like that. You can sit with us. You're gonna have to message me so I don't forget that.
I will do it right away when we close. Yeah.
All right. Well, all you amazing humans, you have a beautiful night, and thank you again, IMI, for being here.
It was lovely. Thank you guys for being with us and thank you for having me.
Always. Talk to you soon, my friend. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.